Hi, this is Privateer Station, and today we'll bring you day 355 of Russian invasion into Ukraine. As always, with former advisor to the office of the President of Ukraine, Lieutenant Colonel Olexiy Arestovich, and Russian opposition politician Mark Feygin. Enjoy. Dear friends, glad to see you all on Feigin Live channel. It is Monday, February 13th. Time is 2 minutes past 9 in Kiev and 2 minutes past 10 in Moscow. We're doing a usual stream. It is day 355 with Olexiy Arestovich. Hi, Olexiy. Good evening. We have about 70,000 watching us. Over 15,000 click the like button. As usual, since we're coming a bit earlier, new time frame, starting at 9 p.m. Kiev, so please continue sharing links to that stream on your social media, so more people could change their routines and adapt to this new schedule. This definitely affects what is being recommended by YouTube if we get to the top and get the right visibility. Of course, do not forget to subscribe to Feigin Live, to Olexiy Arestovich, and to the Privateer Station if you are listening or watching that in English. Alright, let's start our stream, and there are several news that are worth starting with. We'll go to the details of the front later. I hope you have seen the, I don't know if it is a fake or not, with the sledgehammering of another guy from PMC Wagner. His name is Dmitry Yakushenko. There have been two videos posted. First video Wagner posted with the sledgehammer, no face visible, blood splatter. That inmate was in prison in Crimea as the citizen of Ukraine. Earlier, he was in prison for a premeditated murder. Then he signed a contract with Wagner, and later he either got captured or he crossed the line to be captured in Ukraine. And then there is a second video which supposedly is made earlier, before the execution, where he tells a story that he was in Dnieper and he was captured. And then on the 1st of December he was exchanged back as a part of a prisoner exchange, and that's when Wagner got their hands on him. And what happened later, we don't know. Different options discussed. He could have been killed first and have recorded him earlier, or alternatively, perhaps it is a fake, and he might come out and say that, no, you didn't kill him, he is alive. I think it is not fake, but it's what I think. What about you? How can you comment about that, Olexiy? What was it, that story with Yakushenko? And since Prigozhin is part of that sledgehammering process, why is he doing that sequel of Sledgehammering 2? I would want Ukrainian police and investigative organs to research that and answer the question, how do citizens of Ukraine captured get exchanged and returned back to Russia? And then they're dying there because of that sledgehammer. What do you think they can tell you? I don't know. As a citizen of Ukraine, I'm curious. As a citizen of this planet, I'm curious, how do our citizens get two Russians to be executed? Was the first case not enough? Yeah, that's the second already. I don't think it's a staging. I think he was calmed down and was told that we'll just stage it. And that's why he is very calm and telling his story. And after that, he was executed. This is an often kind of common story. In special schools, what they do, they basically telling that in order to kill somebody, you need to make sure that the person thinks it's a staging, it's fake. So he will actually help you to create that scene and to go with this murder. And to know how they kill doubles, yeah, they're telling, yeah, pretend pretend that it's you. You're writing a script, you're writing a note, you're pretending the whole scene. Then you take a pistol and pretend to shoot yourself, but in reality, see that dude in a bag in a corner? We'll shoot him instead. And in reality, the gun turns out to be loaded, or, the window in the building on the 18th floor is very flimsy, or any other thing. Anyway, as a citizen of Ukraine, I'm completely dissatisfied, and I do want to understand what is going on. All right, look, there is a second question here. Why is Prigozhin doing that so publicly? Because the version that he's scaring the contractors of Wagner like this doesn't really hold water. He could have shown them offline. That could be distributed within their ranks and they can see that, but he's doing it publicly. He's actually bringing it out to limelight and adding suspense to the whole story. He done it once, why is he doing that again? Is he really working his thug angle? And is it his reaction to a Ministry of Defense of Russia trying to remove him from the stage? Because recently we discussed Wagner cannot recruit prisoners, cannot recruit inmates from prisons anymore. And they're being sent to some problematic parts of the front. And here he comes out again with the same. If you remember, first time, after the sledgehammer incident, he actually played it back. He made an official statement to Russian Attorney General when the scandal erupted that it was falsification staged by CIA. And here he doesn't even pretend about anything. He just creates a sequel for the same event, essentially, or similar event. And he's even inventing verbs, sledgehammering, in relation to that. One needs to understand that French proverb says that if you've seen one painting, you have not seen any. One is not convincing. Two is a system. So two is probably enough to acknowledge that it is a criminal or terrorist organization, little ISIS. And I think he is affixing himself in that status and letting the world make decisions about how to deal with Wagner. I'm not, I guess he supposes, I'm not afraid of your recognition us as a terrorist org. We will continue doing that. Remember ISIS, when they were blamed for all the terrorism? For each blame, they did a special execution on camera of 100 people in orange suits. So I think it's similar. That's what he's doing. You think it's kind of trash aesthetics, Olexiy? Probably. He invented some sort of code for his PMC, and that's what they're following. And why is it public? Because it is part of the code. He even has some press service that posts videos, a ton of content on their channels. And this is a significant part of their self-identification as the member of the World Forum. Basically, in essence, killing one person with a sledgehammer, he cut thousands of hours of explaining that to new recruits what Wagner is and how do they work. All right, is there a general understanding, Olexiy, where Wagner is fighting these days? Because Prigozhin is saying that they're everywhere, they're in Bakhmut and Solidar. His press service is already posting stuff that they're taking over the mines and actually using some of them for their logistics. So what do we know? Is the presence of Wagner getting bigger, or is it dwindling on the front? From what I know, it is understood that Russian military are pushing them aside a bit. Their importance is dwindling, but they're still present near Bakhmut, and there is a little bit of them in Zaporozhye area. And it's either some of the older troops moved or the new ones that they push there. And it's not tons of them. It's more like 10 here, 20 there, 30 here. So they're sprinkled throughout. But the main effort is where they're partaking is the same. It's Bakhmut. We'll open the map and let's go through the map, see if anything changed in the last couple days. Yeah, the map is very specific today. According to what our general command posted and gave in the interviews, they said that the enemy is concentrating the main efforts on Kupiansk, Limansk, Avdiivsk, Novopavlovsk directions. So essentially the same Eastern Front. And you can, they actually named several locations where we repelled their attacks. Gornikovka, that's a bit north. We need to look north. It's to the north of Kupiansk. This is a very specific area. It's to the north of the northern part of that map, slightly. It's the road that goes from Liman from Russian border to Kupiansk. Kupiansk is at here, that red arrow up top. It's pretty far away from Russian border. And that's why they're undertaking some actions, and their forums are saying they lost some troops trying to attack, but they're still actually going towards Kupiansk trying to. Then Kremenная, that's Lugansk region, and that's where we can see the next 5 arrows in the middle of the map right now. That's where they're attacking. So this is a common direction, that's where we pushed back. Then they started gathering more troops and trying to push back Belogorovka, the green protrusion that is sticking in their side. They're trying to kick us out of there. Then Bakhmut, of course, they're trying to encircle and attack it from all directions. Then Vyimka, Fedorovka, Vasyukivka. Vasyukivka, you can see to the north a little bit. See that two arrows on the right, to the left, and one in the middle. These are top 5 arrows visible on the map now. So this is an effort to cut our protrusion that is sticking out. This is a main factor that the main question they need to solve in order to straighten the front line and have any success. Then if we go down south to Bakhmut, Ivanovska and Klishevka in Donetsk region, see the 2 arrows on the red protrusion going to the yellow road. These are leftmost arrows near Bakhmut at the bottom, like 7 p.m.-ish. And also to the north of Bakhmut, they're attacking Krasnogora. You can see them trying to capture that. Russian sources, including Wagner, posted a video that they captured Krasnogora, and our general command dispelled that and said that the fight is still going on. This is an area to the north of Bakhmut. There is that, and the Paraskovivka. So that's where they're trying to cut the road, Bakhmut-Slaviansk. They actually did get to the road. The main supply to Bakhmut is going between the yellow roads, not on the roads. So that's nothing new. I'm not revealing any secrets here. That's been going for a while. And Bakhmut is in semi-encirclement. And as for Ugledar, Avdiivka, Marinka, they still have no success. And in Ugledar, they're still trying, but according to their own posts, they are in defense there right now, and they're being hammered by Ukrainian troops and barely holding. And I think you can believe that because they already lost a lot of equipment there. That 155th Brigade that suffered greatly there. I think all the Pacific brigades and naval brigades are suffering greatly in Ugledar. They also had a 200 brigade from the north that was there that got really unlucky, but with a 200 number, they kind of doomed to be so, I think. And then they also had all the contracts, all the forces from Kaliningrad area, also here in Ugledar, and Kharkov. They got destroyed, and in Kharkov, the I think everybody of that Kaliningrad was either killed or wounded, so they were really smashed to smithereens. Putin today, did you see that? He mentioned that he's a Marine somehow. And I guess that's how we learned that one of his doubles served in Marine forces and that he cannot really stay mum about his past. That's two interesting theories about it. So as we see, situation is not simple, especially it's not simple near Bakhmut and Siversk. It's complicated, it's not easy. In other areas it's not as complex, but of course, Bakhmut is the core, and then Liman and Kupiansk, they're still doing that operation there, trying to pursue capture of Kupiansk, and we are intending to not let them. We see that the offensive is unfolding slowly, creeping up, and that even Jens Stoltenberg said that, yeah, we see that this offensive is unfolding currently. Our general command also came out and said that, yeah, we think it is offensive, that what we are monitoring on the front now, it is a slow-moving offensive campaign. So today Stoltenberg, the head of NATO, reaffirmed that. And he also mentioned that today's win in war is going to rely heavily on logistics and effectiveness of that, and that is what's going to discuss in Ramstein, and also they'll have a separate meeting of ministers of defense of NATO countries. President Duda from Poland made another statement that went under the radar for many media, but those who were following him could have sounded pretty alarming. He said that Russia might win over Ukraine if Ukraine will not have enough support of the West. I think it's an effort to create emotional appeal, emotional front, to push the understanding that we do need Western support in order to prevail. But for myself, I can say, yeah, we are fighting. We will not let Russians win here, but we do appreciate every drop of help that we can get from the West. Nikopol got under another shelling. One 53-year-old lady died, one more wounded. Bakhmut, one person died as a result of shelling. These are local administrations stating. We have data of interesting social research polling that was done. 85% of Ukrainians said that Russia's withdrawal to the border of 24th of February 22 will not be a reason enough for Ukraine to cease fighting. Also, our citizens think that Donetsk and Lugansk need to come back to Ukrainian administration, and 89% are intent to continue fighting regardless if Russia uses tactical nukes on the front or not. Attention, 89%. A third of us, of course, think that we need to join NATO. 75% in general understand that in order for us to ensure our security, we need to be integrated in the defense systems of the West. And as the result, at the end, a conclusion for that research, researchers write a summary that Ukraine is eager to continue fighting, amazingly stoic and amazingly strong in pushing back. As a result of the first year of war, we have almost 90% of people reaffirming our intent that we'll continue fighting for our freedom and our territory, even being threatened by Russian nukes. And this is an interesting message to our Western allies to consider. Oh, another thing, some kind people, how they presented themselves, wrote me personally in Telegram channel, and they said, Olexiy, you understand that the end is nigh, that you guys will lose soon. You need to make your mind. You and your family need to make your mind. Are you with us or are you against us? If you are with us, write us, we'll talk here, and we'll do what we'll do with you. We'll decide what we'll do with you as a result of that operation. Oh, Olexiy, that's FSB, guys. That's Putin's gang. Yeah, wait, Mark. There is more. There was your name mentioned. I told them back, guys, you're very optimistic. When Feygin will be hanging you on the Red Square, as the general prosecutor of Russia, I will say a word to make sure that your death will be quick. So what did they say? They basically stopped communicating. See, my name, yeah, your name, I think, makes them fear. Okay, we have about 220,000 people watching us live already, including those correspondents of yours who've been talking to you. Yeah, FSB is still sending me stuff also. You can tell them. They're so naive. The way they're approaching is hilarious. It's something usually like, hi, Uncle Mark, I work for a special secret factory. I'm looking for a way to sell something, some data from it. Please connect me with CIA. Some silly stuff like that. Don't even go for that. I don't really bite on crappy propositions like this. Okay, I think you have more news. You can tell us more, right? Oh, I got a ton news, Mark. Let's go over that. Sanctions, right? You love them. I do love them indeed. Spoiler about the new package of sanctions that is leaked. The repercussions will hit several banks, including Alpha Bank, banks supplying trucks, construction materials, rubber materials. I don't know. I don't know the details of the Russian market in certain aspects, but I'm seeing that it's interesting. They keep cutting different industries. That's good. Grain. In Russia, they started talking about the grain deal that supposedly expires in March, needs to be cancelled. And Russian Ministry of Agriculture comes out saying that we should not be participating in these deals with new restrictions on our export, and we don't see anything good for us in participating in that grain deal over the Black Sea. Here, Ukraine talks about sabotaging the inspections, and Russian side is supposed to conduct inspections of the ships under different baseless and absurd reasons, thus delaying. And for today, we have 145 ships waiting the inspection, just waiting till Russians finally decide to do that. And this is definite sabotage on the Russian side. So if these ships do not move timely, then the price of grain will start going up, and will have effects on countries in Africa. So Kremlin is very predictive. Anytime they are getting ready for another offensive maneuvers, they're talking about everything around but the actual stuff. They're becoming very active. So they're talking about the grain deal. They're talking about negotiations. They're talking about... they're doing some meeting in Belarus where Minister of Foreign Affairs of Hungary even visited, the first one in many, many years. And he actually came out as the result of the visit with a position that we need to keep talking to Belarus and Russia, we need to keep channels open. Colombia, Argentina, and some Latin American countries also come out and say that we do support integration with Belarus and Russia, and we maybe can consider doing one currency. I think this is related to Lukashenko looking for his own burn over in the West or in Latin America, and he sent his generals to start discussing with different countries options for his own surrender. And I think his main message is, we are not part of this war. We are resisting Putin's attempts to drag us into the war. We are biding time and buying us some maneuver by selling stuff to him. And I'm Googling Lukashenko's statement right now. So he's saying everything in everything contrary to this thesis. He is saying exactly opposite, despite of all the minister's statements. He is saying, guys, we cannot sit out this war. Everybody needs to be ready in Belarus to fight. So you cannot just let this fly over. Second, he is saying that the damned West is against us. We all need to understand that, and we all need to make our mind about our relation to this war and to Ukraine. The funniest thing is that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Hungary actually took a NATO plane to Belarus for that summit, that meeting. Today, states in Canada, by the way, did call upon their citizens to leave Belarus and Russia. I think this is a warning to that union group and also the friends of self-defense organization, as a warning that, if you guys will not stop this war, if you'll not make any efforts to stop this war may actually flare up on your territory. You think it'll start in Belarus? I think overall, in general, territory of these two, because Russia is part of the territories where they're telling to please evacuate for their citizens. Remember, before the beginning of this war, all the embassies and diplomats left Kiev. So now the countries are telling their ambassadors and their people to leave these countries. Russia and Belarus. This is a very open hint that, things might happen. So do you think, Olexiy, this is a signal? I want to address Minsk angle of that, the Belarus. Is it a signal to Belarus to not even go there? Otherwise, our diplomats will not be there, so nobody will care about bombings. Right, there will be no citizens, no diplomats, nothing will hinder our targeting systems if we need to. So I think this is another tight circle around them, tight noose around Putin and Lukashenko, and the West is telling them, guys, you need to stop. I'm sure at 101%. I don't know that for knowledge, but I'm sure there was something. And there was a brief round somewhere in November where the West was telling Putin, you do not need to continue this war, and you need to stop war, you need to withdraw troops, and we will discuss and figure things out. To which I think he stubbornly refused, and he was told that he's an idiot, and an idiot who is refusing to hear good words in order to help yourself. Then don't blame it on anybody. And I think he has a next meeting soon with Xi Jinping, either a call or a meeting in person. It was somewhere in the media, not fully verified, but there's supposedly something happening between Russia and China. I was looking for that in open sources, couldn't find that online, so it's probably more on the gray media diplomatic side that it is known. And one of the correspondents asked me, what do you think it could mean? She also had that same information. So, what do you think Xi Jinping will bless Putin for? I want to say he will not be blessed for anything. China officially recognizes Ukrainian integrity in the borders before this war, and if anything, Putin will get another message to end it, that he needs to conclude. I don't know if he will run against China and will isolate himself completely. And then here in Hungary, by the way, on the background of all that, is coming and talking to Belarus and trying to appease or make a connection between Lukashenko and the West. So, interesting story, right? We're looking forward for Rammstein to see what will come out of it. It'll tell us more about the general flow, where the West is leaning to. By the way, that message about citizens leaving Russia and Belarus and embassies, note that they're not suggesting Ukraine to leave Ukraine, right? Even though Ukraine is a part of a big conflict. So I think it is a special message that, guys, war can expand. It has a tendency to not be contained in certain borders, and it might expand in a wrong direction to you that you have not expected it to. So, okay, very interesting. We have 280,000 watching us, 85,000. Click the like button. We've been live for about 30 minutes, and please continue sharing links to that stream on your social media. And also, subscribe to Feygin Live and to Olexiy Arestovych in the description to that video. And if you have not done that yet, also do not forget to subscribe to Privateer Station to not miss our releases. Another thing, India frozen their negotiations with Russia about supply of airplanes and jets to India. It's a very difficult story, complex one. India was always diversifying their weaponry. They negotiated with Americans, with Russians. They tried to have different kinds of equipment. And they recently went forward with America, with the United States, but with Russia they also signed something about Su-30 naval configuration for the aircraft-based model. And then they were very upset because there were a lot of failures, engineering-related failures with engines, and they suffered losses of equipment and people. So now they are refusing to continue buying Russian jets, because war is always drawing a very detailed attention from all the participants of the weapons market. Because combat-proof mark is worth a lot. And basically when countries refuse to use certain weapons, it means that they did not see a certain kind of weapon be as effective during that conflict. So, and I would remind that India and China are two posts that Russia's position these days is pegged to. So India is now saying, well, no, we don't really like what you're doing here. And here's another question to Russia, to Russian citizens. Why were we even selling jets for the whole year to India? Before that, do we have enough? Do we have a ton of them? If we have a ton of them, why we're not using them on the front? If we do not have enough, then what's going on? So there was an earlier withdrawal from tank purchases, now it's the withdrawal from jets. The biggest importer of Russian weaponry, India, is breaking their contract with Russia, refusing to continue purchasing Russian stuff. All right, that's a big news, right? I wanted to discuss one more thing with you, Olexiy. I don't know if you saw that Kadyrov gave an interview, exclusive something, to a Russian media channel, that's Skabeva with Popov, and is making new statements there. He kind of disappeared for a while especially after the commanding officers were swapped and Gerasimov took position of the leader for that Russian warfare in Ukraine. He kind of went under, and from his previous stances where he was pushing General Lapin to take a machine gun and go in the trenches and was spewing invectives about the other generals, he was laying low for a while, and now he's back in the media sphere, and he comes out and says no, that everything where Russia withdrew, that was a strategic ideation, then why would he be so pissed at Lapin if that decision was part of the campaign? Because he was attacking him viciously when they withdrew near Liman. Well, it's twofold story. Kadyrov either has no idea of what is going on, and he's just speculating, or he knew everything and he was part of that strategic ideation and he was playing his role. But then he needs to come out and say, General Lapin, my apologies, you need to understand me. It was part of misinformation campaign and I needed to play my role. Glory to Russian weapons. But that's half the story, right? Another half is that one of his generals was poisoned. Yeah, he has a general level as the Russian Guard general, and he is an aide to Kadyrov. So I have a question, Mark. There are two news connected with one last name, with Kadyrov. Do you think they have any relation to each other? Oh, you think that Russian Ministry of Defense actually poisoned his aide, one of his generals, to send a message? I don't think so, Mark, but I have to suspect, because two news connected with one last name popping up in the term of 24 hours, I need to suspect that they are related. So how do big leaders behave normally, right? They cannot come out daily and make statements daily. It's you and me who can do that. We're not of that field, we're not playing there. The bigger leaders, they need to come out maybe once a month, talk about their general positions, and then the whole machinery of media is working for a month, dissecting and digesting what was said. So Kadyrov was gone for a while, and then he comes out again, and everybody in the media is having their ears up, asking, what's up, waiting for him to make a statement, and then he comes out and says, well, we'll capture Poland, we'll capture France, we'll capture Europe, and then they exhale and say, well, okay, yeah, nothing changed, he is still the same. I don't think he will actually go to Poland, because Russian military has a long memory of his actions and his statements, and if he is going on the way to Poland, he may be put on the shortest direction to Poland, and they may all expire there really quickly, especially given the good tradition of Russian military and FSB to share the coordinates of the commanding officers of the troops that they want to get rid of. All right. Did you see the picture, that billion-dollar armored train that Putin built for himself? That similar train, or similar kind of train, is owned by a North Korean leader. Now I heard also that Putin's girlfriend Kabaeva, or wife, whatever she is to him, is also riding some kind of armored train. And now the images of that surfaced up. I don't know, he is probably either afraid of being shot down from air, or is it a return to some iron style of the early 20th century? Mark, it's all about the cup holders. If they're real metal cup holders, then it's a real train. Without them, it's not. I think you're just jealous because you don't have an armored train. I don't, indeed, Olexiy, and I probably will never have one. Right, but see, remember they had an armored train from Crimea or somewhere. There was one in the news that was traveling early on in this war. There was an armored train, but I think it was hit. Yeah, I think it was blown up a couple times. Maybe the last time it was a little too much for it. So what is safer, a jet or an armored train? Well, of course, the jet is more dangerous, because the train, even during the wreck, you're not falling out from the sky. But what Putin thinks, I think? He doesn't know, he is not sure who will end him, because even his own can shoot him. And president's position is very precarious. Maybe, you never know. Maybe he'll jump onto the armored bicycle at the end. But yeah, I'm getting messages that 2 armored trains were destroyed earlier. There is a version that, the popular version on the media, that the bathroom in the train may be more comfortable than in a jet. Well, Olexiy, he's pooping in a suitcase. He's got a special shitty case for that stuff. So I don't think he cares. Yeah, that news I got, that armored train was blown up twice near Melitopol, so it's not driving anywhere. But I think imagine that sort of Stalin romantics. There is Putin in military suit, in a train, heading to Melitopol somewhere, drinking tea with pieces of sugar next to it. And then Medvedev comes in, in a leather jacket, and let's prep the message to our party. And they're dictating like in Stalin times. Yeah, it's a weird one. Our motherland in danger, the enemy is taking Samara. Yeah, it's an armored train of doom, I think. Maybe as an owner of different passports, there are some rumors that he owns several. He is figuring out ways to leave Russia. Just take an armored train and leave it. Frankly, Olexiy, Russia is so huge that he can keep riding his armored train through Russia for months, and nobody will know where he is. Right, Mark, he'll have enough time to remember about his days of service as a Marine. Yeah, it's an interesting memories, right? Okay, we've been 40 minutes live. We discussed, I think, most of the news, even had a laugh. We have one more thing left to bring up. We are still continuing with our campaign, Save Misha. We are preparing it for the 20th of February. Most countries of the world where there is Georgian presence, Georgian diaspora, and people from sympathizing countries and just, sympathizers, if you guys want to come out from either Russians or Ukrainians, come out, partake in these actions. Kazakhs or anybody from ex-USSR, I guess, will post a list of all the cities where the protests are planned. Today was a letter by the fourth president of Georgia. By his request, a lot of political leaders signed this letter, political figures in Georgia, to release Saakashvili from prison. And there were a lot of suggestions for us to create a new merch with Mikhail Saakashvili. So one of the artists created that, and we both putting that. You can buy a t-shirt with us in our store. It's hashtag Save Misha, Saakashvili, Feygin Live. And three of us, Arestovich, Feygin, and Saakashvili. These will be available in Europe and in United States, so you can actually order that for the action on the 20th. And if you want to, you can buy a shirt, or you can even copy that design and put it on a banner or whatever you're going to carry to the protest. That's all right with us. So we're trying to stimulate additional attention, and now it's 3 graphic profiles of 3 of us for that action. So come to store. If you are planning to come out to the action or just want to make a statement, please come and support. We'll post links. Links to our shops are at the bottom of this video. We've been live for 42 minutes plus. We're trying to keep that frame. We have about 300,000 watching us now. And we do hope that you guys continue helping us to promote these streams to make sure the audience stays and grows. And subscribe to Feigin Live, to Olexiy Arestovych channel, and to the Privateer Station if you have not done that yet. And we are probably going to meet soon because Rammstein is coming up. Yeah, I think Wednesday 9 p.m. So English translation will come out on Thursday morning Eastern. So that's when we'll wait for you, and we'll put announcements online. Thank you, Olexiy. Thank you, viewers, and see you on the next stream. Goodbye.